It's just a pair of gloves. Hello and welcome to another episode of Dred Skates. If you are just joining us, I am your host and guide to all things PEV, Scott Dred. And today, as you may have guessed from the opening sequence and the title up there, we are taking a look at a new pair of ride gloves from a relatively recent competitor in the space, Xboard. And of course, because it's kind of hard to convey these things and how gloves look and feel, we are bringing back a channel favorite. That is right, for the first time in, I want to say, like, I don't know, 20 episodes. It's back, that's right, it is the overhead cam. Gloves. Alright, so let's get into it. Now, obviously, we'll run through some of my basic impressions like I do with all of my reviews, what I liked, what I didn't like. And then, just because it's kind of hard to convey the feeling of something, I thought it would be great if for the first time ever I had the first and probably last Esk8 remote mukbang here, where I just kind of go through and rate how all of these remotes kind of feel in the hand with this. Now, for the most part, I have been using the Hoyt Puck and this guy, but we'll get into that in a bit later. So let's get these guys on and start the review. All right, now that I've got these things on, let's get into it. So right off the bat, one thing you might notice is the very interesting colorway here. I have been in contact with the owner, Javier, and he has basically told me that they are discontinuing this in favor of a more monotone colorway. So if that was one of the things that was keeping you away from getting a pair of these, do know that new styles are on their way. So without further ado, let's kind of go into what I liked about these and what I think could maybe use a little bit of improvement. All right, so starting off, I really do like the construction of these. Like, they feel solid, the material is good. There's this kind of like workman style leather on the face here, and just a kind of like polyester nylon kind of backing here. This feels a little bit thin, but it's not too bad, and it's also pretty breathable, like the Flatlands, so I do like that. And then it's got these kind of like rubberized knuckle guards and like this little back swoosh here, and the detailing on everything is just really nice. I think the stitching is a little loose on this guy, but I have also been told that they are working with a new manufacturer as well from the first batch to kind of shore up some of the QA issues. So we'll see what some of the V2 gloves look like in kind of the QA department. So moving on from there, we do have full palm protection here, and this is using, oddly enough, an older style of Moto glove protection. It's got those kind of riveted pads there. And I think these are like brass or something. And then underneath that, there is additional reinforcement with a semi-rigid foam pad. So you can kind of feel that there, and it goes all the way through the palm and up to the third metatarsal there. So, and then there's a little bit of a wrist pad there. One of the other things that I really appreciate about these gloves, and kind of the small attention to details, is the finger cutouts, both the thumbs for the throttle grips and the pointer fingers there, so you can use your phone. I've used, I mean, it's kind of a double-edged sword. Everything exposed is something that could be potentially injured in a crash, but I do like having my finger exposed to like work on my phone if I need to open it up, and also since your thumb is exposed, you can unlock your phone that way, or if you have a Pixel like me, you can tap it on the back. So little details like that are greatly appreciated. And also, the siding and the tips here are that highly reflective microbead material. I don't know if the camera can pick any of it up, but it is very visible. It does pick up in the light, so like if you want to put your hands up in your face to make yourself more visible at night, that will work. So moving on from there, what are some things that I think could use some improvement here? Well, starting off, let's talk about this. Now, I don't know if this is getting addressed in the V2s, but this to me feels kind of unfinished. Now, this is the Kevlar dual lining there. Generally, this to me, it kind of feels like there should have been another ply on there to hide that layer and kind of keep the profile like all black or dark or red and blue or whatever. But it is exposed and it does show through, and that means you're going to be directly wearing on the Kevlar layer itself, so that could degrade over time internally. But that's more of a minor nitpick. I think overall it's still functional. One of the other things too that I noticed when I was using it is that there's a little bit more material here than I think there ought to be, because it provides more rigidity in this little flanges here where your finger bends, or that knuckle. So I can't really fully bend my fingers this way. Now, if it were on the back side, I would totally understand it, because like that's overextension protection. But I think in V2, it would be nice to see this cut down a little bit by a couple of millimeters to give it a little bit more access, so you can actually bend your knuckles at that joint more, so you can get a better grip. But everybody's hands are different, everybody's fingers are different, so you know, maybe some people have better grip with these, more flexibility. So I don't know. Moving on from there, one of the unfortunate things I noticed when I first started using these, I was actually using these as moto gloves with my Sur-On, and it's got, you know, like those kind of gummy, you know, like handlebar grips, and this thing just absolutely started shedding all over it. But if you do happen to get a pair of these, I would recommend maybe putting them through the wash or getting something like a wooden dowel or something, you know, like circular with some grip, and just kind of, you know, working that off to get that kind of top layer fuzz. That was kind of a minor nitpick, although for some people, like if you have a more grippy remote, like if you have a Hoyt or you grab a board by the grip tape, like I could definitely see this coming off. So, little point there. I think on future versions, I would like to see them get rid of this. Over time, this is going to start to sag a little bit, and on uneven ground, I can see that fabric catching on like asphalt or uneven pavement and kind of dragging instead of sliding, especially as this material wears in. But yeah, so let's stop hanging around here and let's start testing out some remotes. So let's just do it real simply. I'm just gonna grab one of these guys one at a time and talk about how it feels in my hand, whether it's loose, tight, whatever. And then we'll give it a rating, let's just say 1 out of 5. All right, so starting off here, this is kind of an odd one, but there are some similar remotes to this. This is kind of reminiscent of the Revel kit remote, or like the Mellow board remote. Actually, I think the Mellow remote is exactly like this, but I'm gonna give that a 4. That feels solid. Like that's a candy bar. That one's hard to get around not having a good grip on. It feels a little loose here. There's a little bit of gap like right there, but yeah, 4 out of 5. All right, here is my favorite, the Dolphin Phallus, otherwise known as the Maytech V1 remote. This thing is bulletproof and highly ergonomic, and oddly enough matches the gloves. I didn't plan that. This is probably gonna be the best. I'm just gonna call it now. This is a 5 out of 5 for gripping this guy. I'm gonna say that now. That's probably gonna be the best one. All right, moving on to the Flip Sky. What is this? V1, VX1. A lot of people have these. Pretty common. There's a gap there. There's kind of weird. Like, it works. Like, I can really hunker down on it and it works. I'm gonna say that's a 3. I'm gonna say that's like a 3.5 or a 4. That's pretty solid. All right, let's try something exotic. All right, so my #1 nemesis, the pistol grip. Yeah, this one again, actually I'm gonna put this in terms of compatibility. I'm gonna put this next to the Maytech. And then going on from there. Now this one I can, this is a 2. This is a 2. This is the X-Way / Hobbywing advanced remote. This is a 2. It always, I don't know what it is, there's not enough there to really grip on, and then looping your finger over there just kind of pushes it out. It puts my hand in a weird place, specifically with the Xboard ride gloves. So that's a 2. Now, the best of the best, save for last, of course, the Hoyt puck in Motorola Pager Purple. Want to give this a 5. Yeah, this works. The puck in general, like it either does or it doesn't work with gloves. I absolutely hate using this with my flatland gloves, but it works here. This works. Yeah, 5 out of 5. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's, unfortunately, I didn't have a full lineup here, but this is a pretty good selection. The only thing I haven't tried it with is maybe something like the X-Way remote or the advanced Hobbywing remote for some of the other boards there, the wider ones. So, would I recommend picking up a pair of these for yourself? I would say yeah. If you're looking for an alternative to the Flatlands, or the Flatlands are out of stock in your area, these are not bad at 66 bucks. They come in just a little bit cheaper than the Flatland Pro Esk8 gloves, and they definitely offer a little bit more protection and a little more flexibility. So that's going to do it for us here. As always, if you like this video and you want to see more videos like this and want to support the channel, maybe think about hitting that thumbs up on this video, or maybe think about subscribing and turning on notifications. So, until next time, stay safe out there, Blade Riders. Peace.